Where's my phone?
Uh-oh. Do you need it?
Yeah, I do. Sorry about that.
We are live.
Let me make sure mine is
Have
off.
a chance to plug in.
I'll make sure my phone isn't turned on.
Okay, and I see we're live, so that's good.
Do you need it?
There we go. Sound is working. All right. Everything back in place. Share it to my page real quick. Good morning, Sherry. Glad you're joining us this morning. Well, welcome back to another WCN Live here at the Wilson County News. My name is Kristen Weaver, Director of Operations, and today my two guests are...
Hi, I'm Linda Sadler.
And?
Roberta Salinas.
So happy to have you here. Thank you so much, ladies. I'm really looking forward to everything that you have to share about what you're doing. Can't wait to share that with you all. But let me first thank our sponsor, Red Wing Shoes. Red Wing Shoes is located on Southwest Military Drive in San Antonio, and let me tell you, they are worth the drive if it's a little bit of a drive for you. My brother swears by them, but you have to get your Red Wings there. They will take very good care of you. They are owned by the same family and in the same location since 1969, so pretty special business there. They've been with us a long time. Kenny, we thank you, and thank you so much for this sponsorship of WCN Live. And you can also find his ad weekly in the Wilson County News. He's always got a cute message and just a good reminder to get over there and get your boots from him. So thank you, Red Wing Shoes. Okay, next on our agenda is we will draw a winner. So let me explain. Every time that we are on live, we ask that you post a comment. You can say hi, you can ask a question. I'll be watching for those, and we can answer them while we're live if we see it. But get your name in there because that will get your name into the drawing for the next WCN Live. So I have the winner. You can please draw me a winner from the last conversation we had here, please. And let's see who wins. They are going to win a C Street Gift Shop gift bag, goodie bag from us. And Lauren Godlitz is our winner. Congratulations, Lauren. Yay. I'll be reaching out to you on Facebook Messenger later. And good morning, Linda Rutledge. Glad you're joining us. Cool. So today we are talking with Linda and Roberta here about a quilt show that's happening this weekend in Vernia. So let me let you guys each introduce yourselves. Tell us a little about each of you and who you are, where you're from, that spiel.
Okay, I'm Linda Sadler, and I've lived in the Vernia area since '89, and I'm real active with the Daughters of the American Revolution, including celebrating America's 250th birthday. Right. Our chapter has a little article in your paper. You guys are good enough to publish that little history tidbit for us every week. And that's how I got started on the quilt idea, because I'm thinking about history, and what better way to have history than to look at the quilts, things that we all love and we have. And there's so many different ways of sharing a quilt or using a quilt, or even different reasons for making a quilt. So I said, let's do a quilt show.
That's right.
And immediately somebody said, you need to ask this lady to come help you because she knows a lot about quilts.
Okay. Well, with that said, Roberta, give us a little introduction, please.
I've been living in Vernia since about 1976, and I'm retired from USAA, and also taught school at Vernia Junior High. So I was a tech teacher, so technology is something I enjoy doing, and I have brought that into quilting.
That's wonderful. I'm just posting a quick comment here because quilts are very special to me. I've grown up, I grew up watching my grandmother hand quilt, or see that process and her making quilts pretty much for people in our family. So I'm fascinated with this subject too. I feel like it touches many people, and I want you to share that in the comments. So I'm going to share my comment real quick. they hold very precious memories and love in my family. So y'all feel free to share your experiences with quilts. Maybe you are a quilter. Let's kind of have some conversation about this and what quilts mean to you. If you have special ones, tell us about them. And yeah, so this is fascinating. You both have really interesting backgrounds, and the next was you already kind of covered this, but like how you came up with the idea, like why you wanted to have a quilt show and how that relates to history and your involvement with the Daughters of the
American Revolution.
Right.
Yeah.
And anything more to add to that?
Well,
would you
I
say?
think
'Cause this is your first one.
This is our first one.
one, okay.
I think we have daily reminders of our history and our family. Well, for instance, the buttons on my jacket were hand painted by my grandmother. You know, and every time I put it on, I think about her.
Yeah.
And I did bring her a quilt of hers that she made. When I was 12, I went to visit with her, and she had her quilting group over at the house. And I said, well, can I quilt? You know, this big setup and taking up the whole room.
Right.
And the lady said, well, you have to do at least 10 stitches per inch to be able to quilt. So I sat down and worked really hard, and I got my 10 stitches per inch, and I got to help quilt that day, and I was very proud.
Neat.
But I did learn how much work a handmade quilt could be.
Yeah.
That's very hard.
It is. It is.
So that's, I guess, the background why I have a little love of quilts, besides
Yeah.
when you can wrap up in them and feel nice and warm. It's on these cold nights like we've been having,
Yes.
it's really handy.
They are. Love to have something to cover up with. That's true. And you said, so just beyond your 12-year-old experience, you also did some quilting in the past.
I've done. I like to piece things, and little lap quilts, and I've made several for the veterans home, but I usually tie them because it's a lot of work, and takes a lot of time
Interesting.
to actually quilt them. So I tie them, and not out of disrespect to the veterans, but I know that they're not going to be able to last there. You know, the people use them, so that's a good thing.
Interesting. Well, we'll circle back to that. Roberta, so talk a little bit about, we were just talking earlier in the conversation, and what got your start in quilting?
Well, I had retired and I decided I wanted to maybe try quilting. My grandmother exposed me to quilting, and so I first started, you know, where you have a quilt pattern maybe out of a magazine, and they have little templates, and you cut those templates with cardboard, and then you're supposed to cut them with a scissor exactly, and then piece them together. So I tried one, and then I was like, oh, this doesn't look like anything that I could finish. It just was not looking right. Being a tech teacher, I said, okay, what is out there in technology and tools that we could buy that to help us along with this to make it more presentable? And so that got me started buying stuff to make quilts.
Right.
And so I don't really do it the old-fashioned way. I do it the more modern way of doing quilts. See, these quilts that are made with 3,000 pieces, they're made with a cutter. I put the template, I put the fabric on a template, and I roll it through a machine, and it cuts it exactly to the size I want it, so I can match all those little seams together.
Wow.
So I use technology.
So you use technology, and then when you were referring to how you tie, explain what that means to.
Just you have your quilt pieces, your layers, because you have usually a decorative layer. You have some batting in between, and then you have a backing on it. And to hook, you want to make it to be attached every now and then.
Right.
So every so often, you'll just take a yarn and go all the way through all the layers and tie a knot.
And I was saying earlier, so that's what those yarns are on some of those quilts I've seen, where you just see that. You know, why is there yarn there? I've always wondered. So that's part of the attachment. Okay, that's how you reinforce it, rather than all of the stitching.
Every little,
Yeah.
yes.
10. What is it? How many per
10
inch?
stitches per inch.
That's
And
great.
you can do that with heavier quilts. You can tie them, like if you're doing quilts that are woolen. My grandmother that I slept under, it was just simple 4x4 squares, but they were out of heavy woolen material, like old coats or something like that, because we were in Illinois. And then maybe they put old blankets under it or flannel under that as for their batting,
Right.
and then flannel on the back. Well, now you got a quilt that's 1/2 inch thick, and you're not going to be able to hand quilt that. And so you tie it.
Okay.
Like she's saying, every 4 inches you would have a yarn coming through and tie it on top, and that kept it together.
And so
It was a utility quilt.
exactly, and that was how
How they
so
kept
many of them
warm and how
were
they used
in the past.
different fabrics that they had on hand. They didn't buy anything.
And that's how they tell the stories from the
Right,
past, don't
right.
they? Mm-hmm.
Somebody's coat and
right.
different things.
Right. And then now it's also a storytelling process, isn't it? But
Yes,
maybe in
it
a different
is.
way.
Yes.
Or they all have
fact-
stories to tell,
Right.
especially if they're from the past.
This is one that I made, and it
That's
is
beautiful.
basically a history of the Livonia area.
Gorgeous.
And I embroidered each square with different famous locations and houses. They probably won't be able to see it.
I want to take it a little closer to
Closer?
the camera for that.
Okay.
Oh, that's so pretty. I have to see this in person. I can see why we need to be at the show. Yes, definitely. And look how pretty. Oh my goodness. But all of those intricate squares that are for you, you're telling this story. Awesome.
And I machine sewed that one around each of the pieces, which is another way you can do it. Instead of tying it, I just machine sewed it all the way through
okay.
to help anchor it together.
Okay. And
So
with
that
the,
worked.
did you have to use technology with, are you using technology?
No, I'm just-
This is,
Just my sewing machine and
wow.
me.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's really lovely.
I'm
And-
not a techie.
But that is so interesting, though. Like the different processes,
Right.
preferences, the stories that are told. Tell us about you were showing me these mugs earlier and who you follow.
Okay, I follow Bonnie Hunter at www.quiltville.com, and she does a mystery quilt for people free. And
Sorry, my chair. So
she puts out the yardage amounts for different maybe reds or golds like that one is, and she'll tell you how many yards that you need, and in the end of October, and you can go through your stash of fabrics to see how many yards of those different fabrics you may have. It doesn't have to be one solid piece of fabric, but different reds or whatever. She gives you paint chips that you can go buy. You can get your paint chips and then try to match your fabrics to that. She gives you that on October 31st. And then the day after Thanksgiving, she tells you your first clue to this mystery quilt. And every week on a Friday, you pull up your computer and she'll tell you what the next challenge will be for that week. It may be 300 pieces that you have to make that week, or 400. You can do them and try to keep up, or you can do them at your leisure. And she'll do that every week until sometime in January, where she'll give you the reveal. And then you start putting all your blocks together, and then you can quilt it however you want to quilt it. But it's usually around 3,000 pieces, because these pieces are 1.5 inches or 2 inch by 2 inch, so they're small pieces. And the colors is what blends it together and makes it a variety of the quilt. So it's a
Fascinating.
very good activity for people that are maybe don't have a lot of things to do around the holidays, and it gives them something to look forward to every Friday to see what the next clue is going to be. And it's always a beautiful product that she designs for you. So
Yeah.
it's really good.
Well, you're both
Enjoyed. I've made 6 of them.
neat.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's quite a
6.
creation, both of you.
That's fun.
Beautiful creations. Speaking of those small little squares, you have one tucked behind
I
you that
do.
has
This is one my
very
grandmother
large.
made in the 60s.
Yes.
It's actually king size, which is unusual. It's called a postage stamp quilt because each piece is the size of an old postage stamp. Every piece on this is sewn together by hand, and it's all quilted by hand.
And different materials.
And these
most
are
likely
all
used.
fabrics from old dresses that she had or
Right.
family members had. So it's very useful.
Right.
The way they used to make quilts,
Sure.
you didn't go out and buy new material. You
Right.
used
It
what
was
you had.
Practical
And this is a
became
lot
art.
of stitching.
Yes.
And I remember seeing her. This is so silly. watching TV, watching the Dean Martin show. She loved Dean Martin, and she'd be sewing away while Dean Martin's talking to her.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
See a memory. It brings you memory when I see the quilt.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, even now, they have feed sack fabric.
Yes.
Because a lot of the quilts were made with feed sacks, especially during the Depression.
Right.
And it's a certain variety of quilt that you can go to the quilt store and ask, do you have the quilt feed sack patterns? And they'll take you to a variety of fabrics that you can buy that are replicas of those fabrics. And so that's very interesting.
That is. Wow. So, Roberta, I understand you have made quilts for St. Anne's Festival
Yes,
in the
I have.
past, so people know you from those auctions. And also, there was a mention, thank you for your comments. Good morning to everyone who's joined us. Shirley Burdett says that you started a sewing class at LV Art Attack a long time ago.
Yes,
and that's
I
where
did.
she got started.
Oh, really?
So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
T-shirt quilts.
Oh,
I was
neat.
doing a
Yeah.
T-shirt quilt project with them.
Right.
Fun.
So, interesting, you're actually part of the conversation today because you've been asked to judge at the
Right.
Quilt Show.
Yes, I have.
Yeah. Have you ever judged a quilt show before?
No, I judge my own work, and I've helped others and gave them guidance. But no, this is my first time, and I was quite honored to be asked because I thought, oh my, they must think my quilting is pretty good if they asked me to be a judge. I must be doing something right. So yeah, it was quite an honor to be asked, and I
And what are your thoughts on that?
yeah, I feel honored to be being able to do it and do it in a positive way because all quilts are special and everybody's
Right.
put so much work in their quilts. So we're really looking for it to be a social event and a fun event,
Yeah.
not to be at a positive event.
Yeah.
So it's be good.
And
I'm
if
excited
people
about
come, they can take pictures of the quilts
it. Exactly.
and use it for ideas for
Oh,
something they
yeah.
might
Yeah,
want to do.
excellent.
I mean, I have all different kinds of quilts as far as being a table runner, being a flag quilt, brown bear, toddler quilts, just all
So
kinds
many.
of different. Because back then, especially, I would read articles in magazines, and they would have. You could buy the pattern, you could buy the fabric, and get a quilt kit and make it from the quilt kit. So I did. I started off with doing a lot of those, and a little bit larger pieces. The fabric was already chosen for me. I just pay the bill. They send it to me. I make it. You know, I follow their instructions and I make it. So I have Valentine type quilts. You know, whatever. I've given away many quilts to family members and things like that.
Yeah.
So. It's been a good activity for me.
And then how many would you say have been sold at the Vernia auction, the St. Anne's Festival?
I don't know.
Number of years? How
10
many?
years,
Well,
15
since you've been
years.
quilting.
Yeah, I've done a lot, and I used to do a lot for the Stry, a memorial. I used to do a quilt for them every year.
Okay.
And different
Nice.
activities.
So those are other ways we can get our hands on your quilts, right?
Right, yeah.
If you're not in the
Those are-
family.
Exactly, because quilters enjoy making quilts
Yeah.
for activities like that, that were to raise money,
Yeah.
because people are out there willing to spend money,
Right.
but
For a good
they
cause.
want to have a product, and not so much the product is worth what they're paying for it, but for memories or to help that activity or that fundraiser.
Yeah.
So that's always fun to do something for them, and plus you get some recognition from that you've made this special quilt, and so you try to make something that people would want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes it precious for them.
Right, exactly.
Good. Wow. Well, so Linda, share all the details about the Quilt Show happening this Saturday.
The show is Saturday at the Vernia United Methodist Church across from the junior high where she used to work.
Yeah.
And it starts at 9 and ends at 3.
Okay.
So, and it's free, totally free. Anybody
Right.
can come in and look. If you have a quilt you want to share, we'd love to have it. If you can bring it the day before on Friday evening, I will be there from 3 to 7 so people can bring their quilts in.
Wonderful.
And when they bring them in, we will, have this part here? We're going to tag every quilt,
Everything will be tagged.
and it tells any information you have, who made it, or who owns it, and any little notes about it. Maybe it's a Sunbonnet Sue, something like that.
Okay.
And then, of course, the contact people for who can take it home, because we want to keep our quilts very safe.
Yes. Right. Right. So, what else? Anything else? Are there going to? Let's look at you're having. So the judging, how that comes to be. You're going to have
The judging will be at 8
Ribbons?
o'clock on
Okay.
Saturday morning. Our judges, we're
Oh,
we're
okay.
getting our
There's-
retired people up early to make them
There's
come in.
six judges.
6 of them.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
six
Can I
judges.
share
Yeah,
who's judging?
absolutely.
I've got all their names just because I didn't want to forget anybody. Roberta, Gail Wheeler, Pam Javier, Susan Richter, Elaine Stevens, and Becky Thompson. And they all have different backgrounds. Some are really interested in history and really don't know a lot about quilting. And I said, well, you can go and find the oldest quilt, the oldest quilter,
Right.
because we're going to give 20 ribbons out for different things like that.
Oh, good. Good.
Becky Thompson has her own podcast and teaches machine quilting. She has one of the big fancy ones.
Right. Exactly.
Ooh, wow.
So we have a variety of people there that are going to be doing things. It'll be fun.
Sounds amazing. It slipped my mind what I was going to ask. Let me go through some of our comments here. Oh, I know what it was, but I don't recall if we said this. But if you, so you want to appeal to anyone who has an interest, who might be looking to get started in quilting, or maybe who is, but is looking for getting to know
Some
some
direction.
people, then this would be a wonderful opportunity for them
Right.
to come and meet some other quilters, like-minded, and the whole thing, right?
Yeah, I'll be there most of the day so that I can encourage people to quilt and things that they can buy to help them along the way to make a more precise quilt.
Yeah.
And she can help them pick a product or a project that is going to be easier for a beginner, so they don't
Right.
get
Right.
discouraged right away.
What a
Right.
great
You don't want
idea.
to you don't want to start out with the postage stamp quilt that's a king size. That's
Right.
too
Right.
hard.
Yeah, there's panels available that have a pretty design on them,
Yeah.
and maybe you're just doing the borders on it and
Yeah.
things like that. That would be easy, and they're very pretty, and you can add things to it with your own creativity,
Right.
and that could be a good way to start making quilts in an inexpensive way too, because they're not that big. They're more of a lap size
Yeah.
quilt.
Yeah. Nice. Nice.
And if you want to do a simple one, get 2 big panels for a lap quilt and donate it to the Frank Tejada Veterans Home. And that's an
good,
easy way to
yes.
get started,
Right.
and it
Give you
is-
some practice
and it
make it
is a good
useful.
use. Yes.
Right. If you want to make a lap, a quilt with your T-shirts, we can certainly tell you how to go about that and how to
Nice.
make them and how to get started on that and save those T-shirts and
Yep.
how to stabilize them first and
Right.
take care of that.
Cool. Yeah, and good morning to you, Sharon. Glad you joined us, as well as Janet Martin, Nicole Fretz. We already talked about Shirley Burdette. Yeah, she's looking forward to seeing everything Saturday, and wow, yeah, it's going to be lovely, and well, a quilt show, and we're having the kind of quilt weather.
Yes, we
Goes
are.
hand in hand, aren't
That's
we?
why we picked January.
That's right.
It's usually a little cooler.
I'm so glad
Not
it's happening
usually this cold,
weekend.
but
Yeah. Right. So, well, this is wonderful. And for those of you that read the Wilson County News, you can find their ad in this week's paper, letting you know about the details that we've shared. Also on our GoWilson360.com community calendar. It's there, and we've talked about it a little bit in the newspaper as well. So, you can, if you can find information here, you can find it in the paper and online, and we'll share the details again. If there's any last words of wisdom or anything you want to leave us with that we left out, maybe.
a quilt can be art. It can be functional.
Yeah,
It can tell history. Just a lot of different things, but it's always fun.
it is.
And don't be afraid of using technology. It really helps you do a good job on your quilt, and all the information is out there on many sites and on YouTube's. You can Missouri Star
Oh,
Quilt
yeah.
Company. You can follow her pods. So
Mhm.
I can share this
Yeah.
one. This is one that was actually donated to the thrift store.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So it will be
Have
going
to
back
see
and
it.
be for sale if anybody wants to go buy it at the thrift store. It's
Wow.
gorgeous.
And it feels lovely to hold. Oh, it's just really precious. Very nice. Okay, so again, the details are
Saturday, the show is from 9 to 3 at the Methodist Church across from the junior high.
in Vernia. And if you have quilts, bring them on
Friday.
Mhm.
If you can't make it Friday, you can bring them Saturday. I'll check them in, but they won't be judged.
Mhm.
If you
Okay.
you know, but that's okay.
Right.
We'll still display them and let everybody
We'll
enjoy them.
enjoy them.
Yeah,
we
we'll
enjoy.
still enjoy 'em.
That's for sure.
Everybody's workmanship and what they're into.
Yes,
Wonderful.
yes.
Okay, thank you. Well, with that said, I think that wraps up our conversation. It's been such a delight. Loved meeting you, and this
Well,
was
thank you for having us.
really
Thank
fun
you.
to learn about all of that and revisit our past and how we feel about quilts and the importance that they carry in society still. I think there's a lot to be said about that. I want to thank our sponsor, Red Wing Shoes, the same family, same location since 1969. They are worth the visit on Southwest Military Drive in San Antonio. Thank you so much, Red Wing Shoes. Kenny at Red Wing, we love you. Thanks for sponsoring WCN Live. And thanks everybody for joining us. Share this video far and wide. Remember, we'll be here again next Wednesday at 10 a.m. for the next conversation, and hope you'll join us. And be sure to make it out to the Quilt Show on Saturday
hope
in
to see you.
Vernia. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.